upon a time, there was a whole grain Cheerio named Jim. As a child, Jim got into trouble all the time. Petty theft, keying cars, putting poop in a bag, then lighting it on fire on people's doorsteps. You might be wondering why a Cheerio, especially the 5-grain variety, would be such a troublemaker. Unfortunately, Jim's parents were going through a rough patch in their marriage at the time. The economy in Kelberg had taken a turn for the worst, and many families lost their houses or businesses, Jim's being one of them. His father turned to alcohol to cope with his loss, and his mother became very depressed. This stress led to young Jim's troublemaking. When Jim became a teenager, he joined the White Circle, an extremely dangerous underground society that would torture the more sugary variety of Cheerios. Jim quickly climbed the ranks of the White Circle. He mercilessly beat and robbed from the residents of Old Kelberg, the less fortunate members of society. As he rose in rank, his fury ripped through Old Kelberg with the power of atomic bombs. Houses were burned, businesses ransacked, milk spilled. Jim became blind from his rage and money. This all accumulated to his final act of aggression. One night, when Jim crept through the dark alleyways of Old Kelberg, he saw an old Cheerio walking home with a brown bag under his arm. Seeing that this could be a good score, he silently stalked his prey. Silently, he got closer and closer until the Cheerio with the bag stumbled slightly, giving Jim the opportunity to strike. He grabbed the bag as the old Cheerio fell towards the street, giving him one last good push, sealing both their fates as one was hit by a car and the other was sent to jail. It took 2 months for the police to finally track Jim down. He sat in prison for years. But as the years passed, Jim became calmer, always regretting the life he took, always remembering the note in the bag he saw, always remembering how he pricked his finger on a thorn from the roses as he took the note out, always remembering the words, "I loved you for 30 years, and I'll love you for 30 more," on the card as tears slid from his eyes. Jim volunteered at any opportunity he could in his time in prison, eventually helping the very people he tormented for so very long. Luckily for Jim, his change in spirit did not go unnoticed by Kelberg's judicial system, and he became eligible for parole. When Jim finally emerged back into the world, he realized it was time to help his parents. He applied for multiple jobs, but rejected from all. But what seemed like a miracle brought upon him by the great Kellogg himself, one business called him back and decided to try out Jim. Jim loved his new job, and his new job loved him. He climbed the corporate ladder quickly, just as he did in the White Circle. He started giving his parents money so they could get up on their feet again. His mother was happy again. His father not as drunk, maybe a little tipsy. Money doesn't cure alcoholism, but whatever. Anyway, Jim's life was going great. One day, a new receptionist was hired. She was the most beautiful Cheerio he ever laid her eyes on. Her name was Cherrio, and Jim fell head over heels for her. Her perfect round body with that big gaping hole in the center. The thought of her sent shivers up Jim's spine. 1 year later, Jim and Cherrio are madly in love. It took him forever to get the courage to ask her out, but Cherrio said yes immediately. He proposed after 6 months, and today is their wedding day. Everything was going great. The music was phenomenal. There was their families and friends, people he helped from Old Kelsberg. There was lights, and they had different colors. Those are fun, right? Like the lasers they have at concerts. Sure. The party was dying down when suddenly Cherrio felt faint. "I feel faint," said Cherrio. Jim was worried. "Oh, hold on, I'll get some soda," Jim said as he looked around. There was no soda. The bartenders were already cleaning up. Maybe water? He thought. Nope, that was gone too. As Chariot got paler, Jim got more worried. He burst into the back kitchen and looked at all the chef, and the chef said, "There's no punchline."